Hey, Steve, just a couple things from me. Um, since you did the Allmark trade, h- how busy have your phones been in the last 36 hours?
I, tough to answer that, Bruce. I think busy is. I think we've been busy for a couple of weeks, really, looking at ways and opportunities to, to add some elements to what we feel we need with our Ottawa Senators. So, getting the trade done for Linus was was a big step in that direction for us. And we'll look at opportunities here moving forward. I mean, there's conversations that have been ongoing for a while and some new ones that have started to come up. But again, you never really know until you get it over the finish line. So I don't. It's hard to handicap it or anticipate if anything else will get done before the draft.
But you were able to, I guess, check a big box on your list, Steve, by getting the goaltender. Do you still feel like you need to, upgrade with another forward or two and perhaps a defenseman?
We're looking at all areas, Bruce. I think I've said that to you before. It's sometimes the market dictates if it's the right fit for us or not. Not just on you identify the player or players that you'd like to inquire about, and if the value going out is something we're willing to do. So I pretty clear. I don't like to make deals just to make deals. We got to be precise in what we're looking for, and detailed in our approach. So certainly we're continuing to work on it.
It's just last thing for me. There was I guess, a report today that perhaps Thomas Shabbat is available. Can you address that for me?
Yeah, not sure where that comes from. It hasn't been talked about once. It's just so. I mean, I don't. I don't get distracted by a lot of stuff. I think probably every player on our team has been rumored at some point. So it's the day and age we live in. I feel for our players, but no truth to that.
Steve will go next to Wayne Scanlon at Sportsnet.
Hi, Steve. Everything's kind of packed in here together now. So with the draft and then free agency coming so soon after. So I'll ask you first about the draft. How much movement do you think there will be in the top 10?
It's a good question. I think, Wayne, that in a year like this, it's just not as clear cut as it's been in previous years. I think that's safe to say. We feel like we're in a real good spot at 7 to be able to get a very good player for us in Ottawa. And but again, you look at opportunities. I think teams that are not in the top 10 are interested in getting in the top 10. So we're willing to listen, but it's been a different year where I don't think that there's been that, probably up close to this point in time before the draft, you kind of know what 1 through 5 or 6 might look like, but that's not the case this year.
And I guess, you're looking to make trades if something makes sense for your club. But as far as free agency, how busy do you expect to be on Monday in the early July as free agency opens up?
I think that will all depend on what, if anything, gets done in the next couple of days. Yeah, I think that we're prepared for that. That'll be our next opportunity to improve our team. So I think the answer to that will come, as this process takes hold over the next few days. And if there's anything that does happen prior to that, maybe we're not as active. And if it doesn't, then we'll look at some potential free agents for us.
Thank you.
Steve will go next to Claire Hanna at TSN.
Hey, Steve, how's it going?
Good.
I just actually want to go back to the Linus Ullmark trade. You mentioned in the middle of the season that goaltending, you felt there could be improvement, but the goaltenders actually felt like there could be improvement as well. So at what point did you really start targeting him, and how did it all come together about, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes before puck drop of Game 7?
Yeah, well, I stand by what I said at the end of the season, Claire, I know our goaltenders, Corpusalo and Forsberg are both better than how they performed last year. So, I do stand by that. But when you have an opportunity to, to acquire a person of Linus Ullmark's ability and the quality of person, to be quite honest, you have to look at it long and hard. And that's sort of what propelled us to continue to go down that path. So it's again, the opportunity was too great for us to be able to add someone of Linus's ability to our team. That's why we went through with that.
Okay, and then a follow-up on that, just if goaltending was a priority, what's going to be the next priority for you?
Well, I think you look at trying to balance the roster out. I mean, we have plenty of ideas and thoughts on how we can balance this out, but again, the market sometimes dictates if those types of players are available and what the value might be going out. Those are all factors into whether we would move forward on something. But I think we're moving towards the draft. I think teams are, in a position now where they're trying to sort out, their business as well. So that's an opportunity. And again, going back to the previous question, that we'll look at free agency for areas to be able to balance it out. At the end of the day, for this group, with Linus, with the addition of Linus Ullmark, and what I believe is the potential for the internal growth for our group, and for our players individually and as a team, with the new coaching staff, I believe we're moving in the right direction. And I'll continue to do my work to see if there's any areas that we can continue to add to the team to get us in the right direction.
Steve, we'll go next to Murray Pam at Full Press NHL.
Hi, Steve. This may be actually a weekend question, but I'm not certain if you can elaborate. But are you able to confirm if any pending RFA or UFAs won't be returning at this point?
Yeah, I won't speak to that at this point.
Steve, we'll go next to Martin Comtois at Radio Canada.
Hi, Steve. I'm just wondering about Ullmark. You made that big trade. He's got a year left on his contract. At what point do you expect to try to engage in discussions with his agent about a possible extension?
Yeah, the priority right now is to have Linus in with our group and have him comfortable and get him to know what the Ottawa Senators are all about moving forward. And I have full confidence in what we're doing with our team. I have full confidence with our coaching staff and our core group of players. I have full confidence in, I've seen firsthand over my first year how the Ottawa Gatineau community embraces our players. Those are the things that we want to, continue to showcase as we move forward with any of our players or people that we're bringing in. And so the discussions on the extension will happen at the appropriate time. My priority right now is to have Linus in with our group and have him comfortable.
Thanks.
Steve, next question is from Lisa Wallace at the Canadian Press.
Hey, Steve, hope all is well. I guess, goaltending has been a bit of an issue for this team the last few years. And while you weren't here, a lot of your players have sort of endured some of the challenges, and they were quite vocal at the end of the season, of wanting to be better and have those playoff runs. How much did that play a factor for you in wanting to maybe go out and make this kind of trade and showing the team that this new ownership, new management is really dedicated to moving things forward?
I think, Lisa, it has less to do with the new manager trying to make a statement, but my assessment of the group and what can help them move forward. So I was trying to address a need. I was trying to address a need that I thought that if we were if we were better in that area last year, we would have been a lot closer to qualifying for the Stanley Cup playoffs. So identified that as an area that if we could improve, that would be a priority. I do feel like this group is ready to take the next step in their development. Now, that's not putting any false expectations. Really, my expectation is that we continue to grow from within and we continue to improve. I have full confidence in the coaching staff and the depth of the coaching staff with the experience now of Travis and Daniel and Mike Yeo and Nolan Baumgartner and Ben Sexton, that the play in front of our goaltenders will improve. And so that's a big factor in it as well. So in saying that, I don't think that it was, I didn't feel like it was something that I needed to do for any other reason than it was the right thing to do.
And just to follow up on that, I guess, is, when he spoke to Linus earlier, he talked about the importance of playing with guys like Patrice Bergeron and Brad Marchand and seeing the work that it takes to be as good as the Bruins have been in the years past. Was finding a player with that kind of experience, important for you to bring sort of that experience to the room as well?
It's very important, and it's unique that this is coming, that type of experience. And, I'd go so far to say leadership is coming from the goaltending position, but in fact, Linus does bring that experience and he knows what a winning culture looks like. So, typically you look at adding players like that, that are on forward or defense. I think Linus brings a unique blend because of that experience in a winning organization, and also being starting goaltender.
Thank you.
Steve, we'll go next to Alex Adams at the Hockey News.
Hey, Steve. I know you just talked a little bit about not wanting to talk about RFAs, but I know you spoke to Ian just today, but about Shane Pinto. I know he really wanted a contract, done before now. What's your kind of process with him, and maybe versus a long-term contract versus a short-term contract in terms of how you want to, how long you want to sign him for?
Yeah, I won't speak to the negotiations on a contract ever publicly. I think Shane knows what we think of him as a player, and we're working towards that. So, hopefully sooner rather than later. But these things sometimes take time. But I guess that's all I'll say on that, is that we are working towards that.
And Steve, the last one this afternoon, we'll circle back to Bruce.
Hey, Steve, just a couple other things for me. Just on your number 7 pick, do you think it's fluid because people aren't, I think by now you could usually say what the top 10 is going to be, but there seems to be a lot of debate about what that top 10 might be. Do you think that's why teams are being fluid and maybe investigating with you, trying to get 7 and give you an asset, and maybe you move back a couple of spots?
I mean, it could be. It's we've had plenty of interest in the pick. If that opportunity comes up and we like what the return is, then we would think about it. Yeah, probably because there is a little bit of a question on what the order might be at this point. But everybody would love to move into the top 10 in any year. So again, we'll continue to listen.
What's your feeling on Russian players, Steve? This organization really has not drafted them or signed them, with the exception of Sokolov in the last few years. What's your take on them?
We'll put each player in positions where the scouts are continuing to look at the list and making sure that they put them in order, and we'll put the players in order no matter what their nationality is.
And you said today that you are not going to exercise any buyouts at this juncture?
No plan on that.
Okay, and last thing for me, just these are kind of housekeeping issues. Have you made a decision on whether you will qualify Eric Brandstrom or not?
I won't speak to that, Bruce, at this point.
Okay,